Good morning, Ricky. How are you?
Play ball!
There it is.
Hey!
Who
What's
better?
up, Mikey? Hey, Brock. Hey, Kyle. Hi, everybody. Hi, Maura.
It's a national holiday, huh? It is opening day. Rick, what is your first opening day memory?
Oh, my goodness. First day in the big leagues, 1983. I was so nervous, so excited. I spent 8 years in the minor leagues riding buses for 4 hours here or there, 10 hours here or there, 18 hours from Memphis to Orlando. And finally, I get to the big leagues in 1983 after 8 years in the minors. And here I am in the kingdom with the greatest announcer in the world, Dave Niehaus. I'm no longer doing a game in Toledo. Here it is. I'm in Seattle. It's the Mariners against the New York Yankees. It's Gaylord Perry against Ron Guidry. And I go, man, I'm not in Kansas anymore, Toto. And this is awesome. It's a lot of fun. We got a packed house. So there's 35,000 people in the kingdom. And I'll never forget, I was so excited. In the third inning, we scored 4 runs. I had the third inning. Dave sends it to me. And now here's the new voice of the Mariners, Rick Rizzs, play-by-play announcer. And Richie Zisk hit a home run. And after the inning, Dave said, you got to call the first home run of the season. But anyway, I want to go back to the first inning.
Did he say that in a nice way or sort of an upset way? Oh, okay, good.
No, in a nice way. Hey, you got a chance to call the first home run of the season in a nice way. But I want to go back to the first inning. I'm doing what I'm doing right now because I'm so doggone excited. And Dave was doing the play-by-play, and I'm jumping in after everything he says, and Gaylord misses Beth all outside. Oh, yeah, a little bit out in front, blah, blah, blah. And here's, Steve Kemp and Ken Griffey Sr.'s in line. I'm talking, and Dave's talking, and I'm talking. Finally, he got tired of this, and he reached over in the second inning. He reached over, guys, turned off my mic, says, you don't have to talk after every pitch. I said, okay, Dave, okay, all right. And so I learned a very valuable lesson, and I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I calmed down, and it was one of the greatest days of my life because my dream came true. I wanted to be a Major League play-by-play announcer ever since I was 12 years old, and growing up on the south side of Chicago, my dream came true that day. And I couldn't have had a better mentor, friend, teacher than Dave Niehaus.
Well, and I'm sure you're thinking about him quite a bit today. I know a lot of people around Seattle are. And it's funny, I've with all of the celebrations of Dave over the years, I don't know that I've ever heard you tell that story. Maybe I have and I'd forgotten it, but I don't know that I've ever heard that story. And it's a great one, and it's awesome that you still carry it with you and carry Dave's memory to this day. I will say I love when you give the Dave shout out for the Grand Slam call. And I think I think Grand Slams are hit the exact right amount of time to make it an honor to Dave without feeling like it's a copy of Dave. Because if it was every home run, it would be too much. But for just the Grand Slams, I think it's a wonderful tribute that you do, Rick.
Well, we have a lot of new fans coming in, a lot of kids coming in, and the fans that have been around for a long time, they remember Dave. My goodness, the guy's in the Hall of Fame. There's a street named after him out in front of the ballpark. There's a statue of David out there in the concourse in right center field. I just want to make sure that the kids remember that Dave Niehaus was one of the greatest announcers of all time. He was here from day one in 1977 until he passed away in November of 2010, one of the worst days of my life. And so the best way to carry on his legacy is keep talking about him, which I always do. I always tell stories about Dave, as often as I can. And when somebody comes up with the bases loaded, and I'm thinking about Grandma making a salami sandwich, get out the rye bread and mustard. It's grand salami time, and I'll always continue to do it to honor Dave. And I hope the other guys do it when I'm going too, But we'll
42 years later, 40 seconds or so opener to a baseball season. When you laid your head on the pillow last night and your eyes opened this morning, is there any different vibe or feeling pulsing through you?
It's still the same, Brock. It's still the excitement. I remember I equate it to like Christmas morning. I remember as a kid how excited I was. And my parents made Christmas, magical for me and my brother. And we got a couple of gifts at Christmas time, and I couldn't wait. Christmas Eve, I couldn't sleep. Same thing like last night. I was so excited. And I couldn't wait to open up that package, and would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, wake up my dad. My mom was already up cooking, Italian wedding soup and making the dinner for Christmas. We had our relatives over. And then to open up that present was so exciting. And that's what I equate opening day in baseball. You can't wait to open up that present to see what you got, the changes that you made or the guys coming back. And it's just so exciting. It's the closest thing to a postseason game that there is. And it's day one of the season. You got the red and white and blue bunting. You've got a packed house, the anticipation of a brand new season. You got all the other festivities going on, each row throwing out the ceremonial first pitch. It should be a national holiday. And it's just so exciting, the night before. And I can't wait to get to the ballpark today to see the ballpark come alive. And it's going to be so exciting, so much fun. So here we are talking about another brand new season. I can't believe it.
For the last couple of weeks, Rick, Brock and I have been counting down the 10 most intriguing Mariners for this season. And intriguing is obviously a vague word, and it's subjective, and you can kind of turn it however you want. But when you think about this roster and this group, who is the most intriguing Mariner for you this year?
Wow, the most intriguing Mariner, the what Cal Raleigh does for this team, at home plate, swinging a bat, 34 home runs, 100 RBIs, behind home plate, catching the pitching staff. We talk about how great the pitching staff, which it is. It's the best in baseball, especially the starting rotation. You got Matt Brash coming back. We saw him pitch in a Cactus League game just a few days ago. But it's what this young man does off the field, in those meetings, to get ready for each and every hitter, for each and every team. He was the MVP of this ball club last year, signing a new 6-year contract. Dan Wilson's legacy will be in Cal Raleigh, because when Cal signed as a second or third round pick in 2018, with out of Florida State, and he came up in 2021 right after Logan Gilbert did. He became, the backbone, the cornerstone of this franchise. So to have him sign a 6-year deal is absolutely amazing. So he is the most intriguing one to me. You talk to Logan Gilbert, which I do, and George Kirby, especially Brian Woob and Bryce Miller. They all say the same thing. I don't shake this guy off because he's done his homework. And he really he gives you a conviction to throw a pitch in a certain place at a certain time, certain moment to get a hitter out. And so he's the most intriguing guy to me because of everything that he does, as a hitter. He's hit more home runs than any catcher over the last 3 years. He's thrown out more runners, I think, than any catcher over the last 2 or 3 years. But what he does with that pitching staff is absolutely remarkable. So we're also going to see guys be healthy this year, too. I want to see a healthy Jorge Polanco, healthy J.P. Crawford, and that would have eliminated that one-game deficit, by many, many games last year. But Cal Raleigh is absolutely amazing.
It's funny that you say it because I'm getting a lot of grief. You might find out later here on the text machine because Cal was not in my top 10 of most intriguing Mariners this year.
Really?
Well, and again, as I said, it's a subjective
Julio
list.
Rodriguez, obvious.
He was number one.
Julio's obvious.
Julio was my number one.
He's number one. Yeah.
Because it's about intriguing. To me, Cal is so steady that I think I know exactly what he's going to do. Heck, maybe he surprised me, hit 50 home runs. But I feel like Cal is such a consistent force. He might be one of the 2 or 3 best Mariners. But Julio, to me, is just such a mystery of, if we finally get the Julio that we've seen in spurts, if we can get that for 6 months or something close to it, Rick, this offense is not going to be a problem. It's going to be good.
Mike, I've always said that, if people ask me what makes a good team, your big guys have to do big things. Looking back on that 95 team, look what Ken Griffey Jr. did. He was absolutely amazing. And Edgar Martinez. Then the other cast, Jay Buhner was outstanding. Julio Rodriguez, I don't think has come near to what he can accomplish in the big leagues. He's going to have a breakout season. I know that sounds ridiculous. He was the American League Rookie of the Year. But this kid is going to hit 40 home runs. He's going to win an MVP award. The talent is there offensively and defensively. He's the face of this franchise. And I watch him every day. What's really amazing is when your superstar gets it. When he stands there for the longest time to sign autographs for kids through the fence, down at field 1, and then on the other side of the fence on field 1 as he's trying to get to field 2, and he's like the Pied Piper. I mean, the kids just flock to him, wherever he goes. Julio, Julio, Julio. So yeah, he's definitely. There's 3 or 4 guys that are at the top of my list, and he's at the top of my list too, Julio, because he's going to have a great year. He's going to win an MVP award, and he's going to win a lot more after he wins his first one. The kid is just so talented. He gets it. And how many guys have a section for themselves? Over the last, 49 years, we've had, 2? Felix Hernandez had King's Court. He lived up to it. He lived up to the name The King, which is almost impossible to do, but he did it. They pumped him up every time he came in for the bullpen to start a game. You got the J-Rod squad out in right center field. He lives up to it. He accepts that responsibility. He's only 24 years of age. He's going to be around for a long time. He signed a long contract. So I just love this kid, and he's going to do amazing things.
Ricky, is this your pick to click? I mean, are you calling it 40-plus home runs, MVP? Is this your pick to click right now?
You know what? I wouldn't be shocked if he does that at all. No. Okay. He hit 7 home runs in the month of September. He was really struggling. Edgar Martinez, turned things around, guys, in the latter half of the year. They were hitting 214 as a team when Danny and Edgar showed up. And from the last 34 games, they had 264. They went 21-13 the last 34 games of the year. In September, they were 16-10. Julio Rodriguez was the greatest beneficiary of Edgar, and the other guys too. But Julio hit 304 in September. He had 7 home runs, 22 RBIs, stole 6 bases. So this kid, gets it. He listened to Edgar. Everybody else listened to Edgar. And all of a sudden the strikeouts came down. I talked to Edgar. I said, Edgar, what did you do with these guys? Toward the end of the year, I asked him. He says, Rick, we had to cut down the strikeouts. He said, I would watch guys. They would strike out. They'd go back to the dugout, get a pat on the butt. He says, I don't want a pat on the butt. I want to go at first base. I want to put the ball in play. So he said, I had these guys to cut down the swing. Julio, he got his hands a little bit farther back, he told me, and made little adjustments here and there. And he said, cut down your swing with 2 strikes. They were setting a major league record pace for strikeouts, but they really cut down the strikeouts in the last 34 games. So Edgar did an amazing job with these guys. And Julio was, I think, the biggest recipient. He had a great September, and he's going to do that for 6 months out of the regular season and carry this team into the postseason.
I like it. From your lips to God's ears right there. And my last little thing for you here, Ricky, this morning, you mentioned Dave Niehaus, and I think back through my almost 20 years doing this broadcast thing and just all the different people that make imprints on you and kind of stick with you, and you take a little piece of him that, here and there and their game and everything else. I'm wondering, over 162, will we see a little Lou Piniella in Dan Wilson? I know their personalities and their makeups and everything their DNA is so different. But you can't help but be around that guy, as Dan was for the majority of his career, and not be impacted by him. I'm kind of curious if you see any piece of Lou in Dan.
You know what? If you see a piece of Lou and Dan, you got to look way inside. It's there. There's a fire there. There's a passion there to win. You won't see it, I don't think, on the field. That's just not Dan. But with Lou, he wore his emotions on his sleeve. He would go out there and yell and scream at the umpire, kick his hat from second base all the way to the first base dugout like he did in Cleveland. He'd take first base and throw it. Of course, now with replays, it's eliminated all that. There's no more Lou Piniellas. There are no more Earl Weavers and Billy Martins and Bobby Coxes and things like that. There's no more chances on the field. You just tap your ears like, I want to see the replay. So it's eliminated that. But if you look inside Dan Wilson, you'll find Lou Piniella. He's in there because he has a passion for the fans here in Seattle to win, to get the team to the playoffs, and not just get to the playoffs. We got to get to the World Series. That's what Dan wants. So he learned a lot from Lou. Lou beat the heck out of him, but Lou made Danny a big league catcher, a great catcher, an all-star catcher. And I think because of what Lou did with Dan, he's going to make him a great manager too. Look inside Danny, you'll find Lou Piniella.
How's your head, Rick? The audio was just horrendous. Are you okay?
Is this the time I do? Is this when, we've given him 15 minutes to warm up. I got a cognitive test to see whether or not you can be on the broadcast today. I've had a few concussions, Ricky. I need you to say the alphabet forward and backward, and you got to do it in less than 30 seconds.
Please
Ready
don't.
and go.
I can't do it forwards or backwards, especially backwards. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, blah, 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 blah. So I'm okay.
See, what you
Play ball!
Yeah.
Play ball!
Just
No,
stick
it
with
really
play ball.
hurt, you know.
It sounded awful.
I got to have a little talk with Rizzs Hoskins. Say, hit the ball that way, you know. And I'm doing the game. I'm doing the play-by-play. And Gary Hill's next to me, who, by the way, did a great job this spring. And,
he did a great job in that moment, too.
Yeah, he really did. Well, I told him, keep doing the play-by-play.
That's not what you did. A lot of people feel like you sounded like the Godfather as he was trying to tell his kids what to do. I hope you don't mind me going over this Barzini business. You'll go on without me.
He sleeps with the fishes. I said, Gary, keep doing the play-by-play. And but so I was knocked on the ground. I was tangled up, strangled with my headset cord, you know, and everything. And I'm on the ground, and I felt sorry for Gary because he's waving to people frantically, get somebody in here. So finally, the EMTs came in, and they tested me. You know, they gave me they checked my blood pressure, and I was okay. Dr. Pelto, thank God for Dr. Pelto with the Mariners. He was there, and he came up. He gave me the concussion test. I passed, and he said, Rick, I think you should go home. I said, Doc, you know what? We're in Maryville. I don't want to go home. I don't want to drive right now. I said, I think I can do the game because I got hit in high school in the head. I got hit in the head in college, and I would see stars, and was nauseated. And when I got hit in the head with that ball, thank God I turned my head because it would hit me in the face. But it hit me full force right in the back of my head. I had a lump the size of an egg on the back of my head. And I said, Doc, you know, I think I want to stay. I think I'm going to be all right. So I finished the game with Gary. And that night, I had a pretty good headache. You know, the next night, I had a pretty good headache, and my it went away, and the pump went away, and thank God I was okay. So everybody had a lot of fun with it. The next day, I find a catcher's mask and a catcher's skull helmet in front of me, so I wore it during the game, the next game, and but I was okay. My mother always said I had a hard head.
Yes.
So
there you go. Have you listened to the audio of it happening?
No, I don't want to.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
No,
you don't want to. You don't want to hear it.
You really shouldn't.
No, you got it.
Well, I have it on my phone.
No,
it was sent to me.
You don't want to hear it.
Do you want to hear it?
No, you don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear Lyle say play ball either. No.
You don't want to hear it.
No.
Here's my question. Can I ask you a serious question?
Yeah, sure can.
Is it okay, knowing that you were okay, is it okay if I laughed at the audio when I heard it?
Laughed at the audio?
Yeah.
I'm dying and you wanted to laugh?
No. Only once I heard that you were okay. I promise.
Yes. It's okay to laugh.
Good. Thank you.
Gary and I were looking around for the ball and we couldn't find it. The ball, the guys next door, there was Justin Hollander.
Yeah.
Jake from and Andy McKay and a few other guys were in the booth next door and just partitioned with a window. They could see what was happening, me on the ground. And they were looking for the ball. They said, the ball went outside in the stadium. It hit me in the head and went back in the stadium. I didn't even get the damn ball.
You're lucky that thing didn't careen all the way out to the berm as hard as it hit you.
Oh, man. I felt like somebody hit me in the back of the head with a bat. So I'm going to go to Rizzs Hoskins when I see him when Milwaukee gets here. And I'm going to have him sign a ball for our Toys for Kids auction and say, to Rick, Duck, Rizzs Hoskins. And I'm going to sell it in our auction, and we're going to use it to buy toys for homeless kids.
That's awesome. Rick, thank you. We love you. Okay. You were a treasure. And for everything that you do for the local community, for everything that you do to keep alive the memory of Dave Niehaus, I love hearing you talk about him and hearing you talk about baseball and your journey together. And I think you're right. It's now been, it's been long enough that, there are a lot of people listening to the games that don't really remember Dave. And I love that you find a way to keep his memory alive. I played this earlier today for Brock, but before you go, I'll play it for you as well. I made Brock cry. I mean, I didn't, but this audio made Brock cry.
Got me, Ricky.
You'll hear it probably later today. Heck, you've probably already listened to it once today. But here you go, just for fun.
Someone once said, you don't grip a baseball. A baseball grips you. It fills our days and brightens our nights. Over the course of a season and the span of a lifetime. We share hope, drama, and joy. It brings us all closer together, 9 innings at a time. It's the game we live. It's the game we love. Welcome back, baseball. Welcome back.
Did you have that on your alarm clock this morning when you first woke up?
Oh, I wish I did. Man, if that doesn't make you well up, nothing does. You know, Dave Niehaus was so eloquent. You know, he was a poet at times on the air. He had great comedy, great stories, but he made you feel the game. He made the little hairs on the back of your neck stand up, you know, setting up the moment. You know, all we need here is a line drive. The Gapman Jr. is going to score from first, and Edgar hits the double. I take my headphones off. I'm jumping up and down while Junior's running around the bases. He had the greatest call in the history of the franchise. But if you don't well up with that, nothing will. Even my cat Sparky's crying right now.
Geez, poor Sparky. Poor guy. Well, yeah, sometimes you would get that from Dave, and sometimes you would get this.
Delivery to him is a breaking ball, Steve, right at the knees. A nasty, diabolical slider. Oh,
that stank.
That stank.
It stank.
Rick.
I was sitting next to him in Goodyear when Michael Pineda was pitching. I go, oh, that's beautiful. Everything the man said was radio gold, you know. Get out the right bread must. I looked at Kevin Krem and I said, what the heck was that? Kevin shrugged his shoulders. I don't know. But it became radio gold because Dave Niehaus said it. He did it. And we will always remember the greatest announcer in the history.
People are going to be talking about you for years to come as well, Rick. Thanks for being the voice of the Mariners. We love listening to you every day here on the station, and it's always great to catch up. Enjoy opening day tonight, and we'll be thinking of you and Lyle when they say play ball. See you, Ricky.
I got my glove up there. Thanks, Mikey. Thank you, Brock. Thank you, Bora. Thanks, everybody. Have fun tonight. Come to the ballpark.
All righty, there you go. There goes Rick Rizzs.
Well, we really do appreciate you guys watching our videos.
And remember, you can like it, you can subscribe it, you can download the Seattle Sports app so you never miss a minute.